everything is a Chapter 8 spoiler from here. So if you haven't seen it, don't watch it. So I didn't like it, and I didn't like it for a lot of reasons, and I didn't mind certain things for other reasons. I thought that the Steve fake-out death was insulting. I thought that was so stupid. Like, having him almost fall off of the radio tower and then cut to black. It's like, if you thought he was going to die there, if you thought that they were going to kill him off after the heart-to-heart that he and Dustin had last season, or last episode, then I don't know what to say to you. But it was so obvious and just so stupid, where you're like, dude, don't even waste my fucking time. Like, it felt insulting. Hopper this whole season has just been really annoying. And I actually hate his daughter, and I'm glad she died of leukemia, because they showed it to me so many times, like through the whole show, but especially like last season and this season. It's like they showed us so many times that I ran out of sympathy for a leukemia patient. And I was glad that she died, because they shoved it down our throats so many frickin' times in all those lame flashbacks. If they had saved that and not wasted it, and then had it where Vecna is getting into his mind, and that was the first time that we'd seen Sarah in like 2 seasons, it would have had an impact. But when she showed up in the lab in the Upside Down, by the immersion tank, I was like, oh great, the little bald baby again. Great, this is great. This is what I needed again, was another flashback to Hopper's poor little leukemia kid who he never should have had because he was exposed to chemicals in the Big Bad War. It's like, yeah, you've ran that into the ground too many times, and I just don't care. And that's probably me being dramatic. Like I said, I'm fresh off this, but it really pissed me off. And him shooting through a fake Vecna and then breaking the immersion tank, I saw that coming, like, right away. Where as soon as Vecna, like, quote-unquote showed himself, I'm like, don't shoot him. Like, first off, we know that doesn't work. We know that doesn't do anything. It makes no impact whatsoever. It's like, don't shoot him. You're just going to waste your bullets. Like, the entire military base tried doing that before you. Your 357 Magnum or whatever frickin' revolver that was isn't going to do shit, right? It just isn't. And, yeah, so he shoots through the image of Vecna and puts holes... or supposedly puts holes in the immersion tank. We don't actually know if the bullets went in or he just made him look like he did, because he tricked Hopper into thinking that he shot Elle, so then he breaks the glass in the immersion tank, which then pulls her and pulls Callie and pulls Max out of the Henry's mind, right? And it just felt so stupid, and it really was annoying, because I hate it when characters act irrationally and stupid, and I thought that was really, really stupid. So, yeah, that didn't make me happy. The whole suicide pact thing makes sense to me, but also it doesn't, because as we saw in this scene right here, yeah, Elle can just neck snap everybody. Like, all these guys except for one. So I think that's Hopper in the chair. That's Callie. This is that D-bag guy who, that's the gun. That's the one gun. That's the one finger that pulled the trigger of the one gun that fired the one bullet that actually hit a character that mattered in this whole season by a U.S. military member. Yeah, that explosion is the one thing that Murray did all season. He did the truck driving, whatever, but he was basically reserved and downgraded to just one-liners for 7 episodes, and most of this episode as well, where he just existed to be like a snarky one-line dispenser and giving people nicknames and all of that. He didn't do anything like obviously he brought them supplies and stuff, but it was not impact, like he wasn't impactful, right? And this is the one thing he did, which was, I was gonna look that up. I don't think fragmentation grenades set off C4, because detonate C4. That's why you have certain missile grenade general characteristics used in grenades. Yeah. Oh my god. So I was right. Okay. Because typically with C4, you need an electrical detonator. So you'd have, a battery hooked up to a switch, hooked up to lead azide detonators that are then plugged into the clay, right? Because it's a plastic explosive. So using C4 in grenades, you need to use an electrical detonator. It's resistant to sympathetic detonation. So that's what I thought. Unlike other grenades, C4 is mainly detonated. That's probably in the game. Plastic explosive like Semtex, right? Plastic binder, plasticizer. Can be detonated by a shock from a detonator or blasting cap. It's relatively insensitive. So it's not like the old TNT with like the nitroglycerin that weeps a little bit and like it can become unstable and it can go off, right? A sympathetic detonation. You need an electrical impact fuse, a blasting cap. So what he did was a complete and utter waste of time, because he took his belt off. This is Murray, who's up on the roof of this building. He took his belt off. He used it to strap a frag grenade to a block of plastic explosives, and then he pulled the pin and he threw it off the roof into the rotors of the helicopter that's outside this window that had the sonar power blocking blast going, which is preventing them from using their powers. That's the one thing he did of consequence in the whole season. Hopper also didn't do shit the whole season. He was basically there to be an emotional sponge, and basically just act as the antagonist for Elle taking action and doing things. He was constantly trying to stop her up, trying to slow her down, trying to get her to trying to keep her safe, which for his character it makes sense, because I don't know if you knew this, but he had a daughter and her name was Sarah, and he felt like he let her down, and he's still going through stuff and really, really having trouble dealing with that. Okay, so that was not great. Elle was awesome. I felt like something was off. Like Millie Bobby Brown, I know people have been making fun of, like, I guess she got lip filler. I don't know. It looks like it, but I don't know. So people have been trashing her for that, which, fair enough. Don't get lip filler. There's a 98% chance you look better without it. You just need to learn to appreciate yourself. But I don't know. Like, I felt like she was pretty flat the whole season. She was making like the same facial expression like the whole frickin' time, and then like just having her in the wetsuit with her hair pulled back, like it just didn't, I don't know, she didn't get to display a lot of range this season. Steve and Dustin kind of paid homage to Eddie, which was cool. They tricked Henry so that the kids could understand that Mr. Whatsit was actually the black thing. That was done fine. Like, as soon as again, as soon as that happened, I'm like, okay, like Callie is there and she's like using her powers. They're right there. They're watching. And then it's like, yes, yeah, they're right there. They're watching. It's like, okay, that's fine. And then I felt like she had Henry dead to rights, and then she had to like announce that she was going to stab him, and then he got away. It's not the greatest sin, but it was still annoying. Trying to think. Jonathan and Steve had really boring conversation to basically go, yeah, we're cool now. Trying to think, like through the actual episode, Erica, Mr. What's His Face, they were fine. The kids got away. Oh, it was so just talk. I forget the actual actor's name. Who plays Henry? Oh, jeez. Okay, Steve Harrington, Max, Mike, Dustin, Erica, Vecna, Jamie Campbell Bower. That's right, Jamie Campbell Bower. His range is just fantastic. Like, you think about the characters that he's portrayed. Like he's Henry, he's Vecna. Same character, but like the faces that he puts on to trick the other characters. Just fantastic. So, I mean, obviously when we were introduced to him, he was the like orderly in the Hawkins lab. And he played that fantastically well. And then during his escape, quote unquote escape attempt, when he kills everybody else, and Elle shoves him through like the nether space and then into the abyss, you know, we see his serial killer, like his real self, come out, which was awesome. And then we see him as Vecna, which is awesome. We see him as Mr. Whatsit, where he again just like is able to prey upon people's emotions and be able to get them to trust him. I thought it was fantastically done. And then just being a boss as Vecna, but then him in his human self, in his memories, when he has to challenge his fear and go into the cave, like just his acting range and the way that he can sell, like the whole time, like he sells it when he's going through the pass, and then he sells it even more when he goes into the mine shaft, you know, and like it feels. I need to fix what the hell is going on. Like it feels like he's feeling like what's happening. You know what I mean? And it's so well done. Fantastic actor. His range is great. You know, I'd put him up there with Skarsgård, honestly. Skarsgård obviously still edges him out just a little bit. Let's not get crazy here, but great job, great actor. I'm sad that they kind of did him dirty, I think, in the end, which I guess I'll get into now, where my problems, again, just to reiterate, I think that the Duffer Brothers were too scared to rock the boat, and they were too scared to kill characters off. And because of that, everybody got a happy ending, or basically everybody got a happy ending. And I thought it kind of cheapened sacrifices that have been made. It cheapened, like going back to that idea of roundness. Things were like almost too predictable, where everything came out basically how you expected it to come out, and very, very safely. Nancy ends up single, and she's her own girl boss, and she's independent. Steve ends up like dating around. Like he's gone through like 4 girlfriends in the 18 months at the conclusion of the climax, and then like the afterward. So he's same thing. Jonathan is going to school at NYU and he's making films, obviously anti-capitalist films, because he is, he's the dope smoking hippie guy. Makes sense. Robin is Robin, and we didn't see her, but we assume she's still with Vicky, I guess. At after like the 18 months after, Hopper and Joyce end up getting engaged, right? Will and Max end up back, or Lucas and Max end up back together. Will ends up having a boyfriend and going to a bar. I don't think we know where. Good for him. Dustin, I don't think we know where Dustin ended up. The Bard went on, and we see Steve like pick him up or something from college, like bring him back or something. So he's doing the college thing. That's fine. Mike becomes a writer. And then his Holly and her friends pick up the D&D tradition from them going forward. Elle died after they escaped the Upside Down. Probably. They tried to leave it up to interpretation, and I think that just proves my point even more, that they were scared to commit to anything because they didn't want to make people angry. And I think that, killing characters off isn't necessarily easy, especially if you've grown emotionally attached to them. Like, Steve would have died in like season 1, but they liked him so much, Joe Keery, so much that they kept him around, evolved his character, and he became, kind of like, I think if you sampled everybody, Steve would probably come out with the most votes for like favorite character. Certainly top 3. But I felt like everything ended too neat, and I thought that the final battle, like, it sucked. It was really fucking lame. It's kind of a 2-front battle. Elle, they're all in the abyss, and Elle is inside of the kaiju that is the monster flayer, or the mind flayer, and she is fighting Vecna, and brand new choreography. One of them pushes the other with their mind, and the other one either tries to block it and succeeds, but they strain themselves a lot, or they get pushed. And then after they get pushed, they don't get attacked immediately over and over and over again. They get time to stand back up, wipe blood off their nose, and then push the other one back again. And it just kind of goes back and forth. It was really, really revolutionary. I thought it was fantastic. Obviously, that's sarcasm. It was really fucking lame. And then when Vecna finally remembers, oh wait, I have a tentacle arm that I can send after her, and I can kill her before she can push me through the spike. And we're like, oh, that's it. Nothing's gonna stop that. That's the immovable object right there. Vecna's gonna win. And then completely out of the blue, like nobody could have predicted this, he doesn't, because Will stops him from doing it because Will's in his mind, and nobody saw that coming, and it didn't surprise, I mean, it surprised everybody. Like, we were shocked. So while that's happening, that's the first front of the battle. The other front of the battle is even more fucking ridiculous, where the rest of the gang, who's armed with weapons that are proven over and over and over again not to work on Demodogs, Demogorgons, or Vecna, and they took all these weapons with them to the Abyss to fight Vecna, by the way. Yeah, so it turns out that the weird citadel thing that he was in keeping the kids in, was actually the Mind Flayer, and the Mind Flayer is a giant spider kaiju, and they feel confident that they can handle that with, you know, weapons that have been shown over and over and over and over again not to work on the Mind Flayer's minions and Vecna. And they do. They win. They beat it. They, Nancy, of course, because she's the girl boss, goes and leads it into, like, the smallest box canyon crevice ever. And the other ones go up above, like on this cliff face that it could definitely easily climb. And, yeah, they just shoot it a bunch, and they throw a bunch of Molotov cocktails at it, even though it's like 6 stories tall. And it not only does it not manage to kill a single one of them before it dies, because it dies, they kill it. They kill the Mind Flayer with like 4 Molotov cocktails, a slingshot that's shooting, like, I don't know, gasoline or something, because it gets lit on fire afterward. And you know, Nancy shot it with like 2 mags of 5.56 from her AR or her M16, and then shot it sometimes with a shotgun. Oh, and flare, don't forget the flare. Yeah, the flare gun that she gave Mike. That was really the balance breaker right there. There's the tiebreaker. And this thing is so dumb that it keeps going after Nancy, and by like shoving its head into this crack that it clearly can't fit into. And when it doesn't go up onto the cliff that it could easily climb to kill the other like 5 people that are throwing shit at it. Like it doesn't do that, but it puts enough of its body up there that Dustin and Steve can pay homage to Eddie with their dumbass K-bar knife spears, and they just go stand under it and stab it a bunch. And it died. It died from that. They killed it. They killed the Mind Flayer kaiju. It's an actual kaiju from Godzilla, and they killed it with like 20 shotgun shells, 60 rounds of 5.56 NATO, and by poking it a bunch. Yeah, so that happened. So when the kaiju is defeated, as it takes damage, it affects Vecna, and L shoves him onto a spike that I called. I swear to God, I called this when they first showed us that room. Well, it might have been Escape from Camazotz, when Holly wakes up in that room, and like it has like the bone spikes like standing out of the ground. I'm like, that's got to be Chekhov's gun. Like, somebody's gonna get shoved onto one of those at some point. Like, whether it's a Demogorgon, whether it's Vecna, like, it's gotta happen, because you don't. Interior decorators do not make shit like that, and not use it. You know, it's got to be functional. That's the important thing about interior design, is that it has to be beautiful. It has to be cohesive feng shui, obviously, as well, but it also needs to be functional. So yes, the spike was functional, and Vecna died, and then they rescued all the kids, and then the Duffer brothers were like, oh shit, we didn't give Joyce anything to do in this entire episode. And then they go, well, really, the whole season, she just kind of nagged people, and then she stood up to a Demogorgon that would have killed her instantly, but it didn't, so it gave Will enough time to save her from it. So we need to have her do something. So Henry comes back to life on the spike. It's pretty crazy. He comes back to life, and is like coughing and gurgling out blood, and she takes the most axe swings in human history to behead a person. Like, she has a woodcutting axe, and she literally takes like 13 swings. Like, it's enough time that they do flashbacks for each individual character who's present and flash through all the traumatic things that happened to them because of the mind flare and because of Henry. And then she cuts his head off, and like, that's it. And then I went, oh my god, are they really ending it like that? Yes and no. That's the end of me giving a shit about the episode, because you pause it and there's like another 44 minutes left in the episode. And I was like, holy shit, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, well, I guess the military, they're gonna have this big thing with the military. It's kind of like the last season of Game of Thrones, where you think that the Night King is gonna be the end villain, but he's not. They fake you out. He gets killed earlier, and then Cersei's the bad guy at the end, right? That's basically what we're dealing with. Vecna and the Mind Flayer, who are one, we learned as well. He doesn't lead the Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer doesn't lead him. They're symbiotic in their desire for destruction and shit. Yeah, so they do the same thing where you think, oh yeah, they're the end game. Oh no, we're gonna kill him halfway through the episode in just like the most dismally lame way possible. And then we're gonna have the military, like Cersei and King's Landing. They're gonna be the end game, except they're not, because when they escape the Upside Down, they immediately get their shit handed to them because of spike strips that I don't think could actually pop the tires on either a Humvee or a box truck that large. I don't think that could do that. I could be wrong. Then Elle has a little tete-a-tete with Mike in her mind while she's hiding, sitting back through the portal, watching all this shit happen. And she stays in the Upside Down and allows herself to get swept away into the nothingness of the void, so that the military that she could easily overpower and kill with her mind, or just wear earplugs. I was thinking that too when they were in the hospital or the lab. I was like, did she really not bring like earplugs or earmuffs like this time around? She just said, yeah, fuck it. I'm not going to do anything to try to counteract the clearly sound-based weapon that they're using to nullify my powers. So she does self-sacrifice that they'd been alluding to the whole season, so everybody was really surprised when it happened. And then they did a really lame retcon that doesn't actually make sense, and I don't think it's actually true, where Kali didn't die, and 11, she turned 11 invisible from like 2.5 miles away through a Oh no, there's no way it's true. Wait, no, there's no way it's true then. So when they're playing Dungeons and Dragons and they're doing this really lame, like, oh, this is where all these characters are going to end up. Teehee, I'm a storyteller, which they haven't like talked about in like 3 seasons. He comes up with the fake idea of, oh, Kali didn't die and she was using her mind power, so when we got pulled over, she turned Elle invisible, even though she would have had no idea that we were in trouble, or like have the power to project that far because she was like bleeding out. And then Elle ran into the radio shack and climbed into the tunnels, and she got away. And the Elle that he saw and definitely mind melded with to have like a last conversation died because the Upside Down blew up, the portal collapsed, and she got sucked into the abyss. Right? But that was just the projection. The real Elle got turned invisible. And that doesn't make sense because Kali probably can't project that far away. She definitely wouldn't have known that they were in trouble. And don't forget that when the... Jesus Christ, leave me alone. So when the Upside Down starts deteriorating, what caused that? Like 14 bricks of C4 going off, destroying or damaging and destroying the exotic matter that is holding the Einstein-Rosen bridge together, right? What building was that happening in? What building was Kali in? Yeah, as soon as that C4 went off, she was probably dead. And if that didn't kill her, then like within 15 seconds, she would have been dead by getting sucked into nothingness. So yeah, Elle died. She sacrificed herself. Don't turn it into a whole thing. Mike is just coping, and he's gonna die a virgin, and that's okay. That's okay. But I just thought it was really underwhelming. It's kind of like things ending too clean, things ending too predictably too boring. And they had some heartstring tugging at the end, just with, you know, the idea of everybody kind of growing up and moving on and moving out and going on to different places and doing different things, so they're not with the people who, you know, for them, like the first 18 years of their lives, like made it happy and fun, and they were their friends, you know, they were like basically family. And so you know, that was good. I thought that was well done. Yeah, overall, it wasn't terrible, except for all of the parts that were, holy cow, no, let me go back to the list. Like, I think this is unfairly graded low, and I would give this probably like a 7.5. Like, I think the bridge, what's the next lowest one? 7.9. Okay. Like, I'd be fine with the bridge getting like a 7 or a 7.5, and the right side up I would have given like a 7.5. Nothing great. There, like, the best stuff about this was the Henry flashbacks and literally just watching him put on the performance of a lifetime. Other than that, though, it was just meh. In terms of dramatic tension, climax, chapter 4, The Sorcerer, was just infinitely better. Just the wow moments, like everything else. I just felt like season 8 or chapter 8 just didn't have anything that that really stacked up to that. I thought it was overall just kind of boring and predictable. So those are my initial thoughts. You know, obviously that might change after I watch it again, after, you know, it kind of sits in my head. But I literally got done watching it like 10 minutes before I started this. Oh, wow, I've been talking for an hour and 42 minutes. So I'm going to call it there. If you guys have watched it, what did you think? What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10? This was super long form and just me rambling, but I do love this type of analysis, so it might be something I do in a more compact form for, you know, different shows or movies or things that I like. So we will see what the future holds, but for the time being, thank you very much. I'm gonna go to bed, and I wish you all a happy new year, and I'll catch you on the next one.